able to track John Benjamin body 12 times over the border crossings from Mexico into the United States to the Laredo, Texas border, starting in 1904 and ending in 1933. In February 2008, I contacted columnist Mike Fitzgerald of the Stockton Record and shared with him my findings. I was able to provide the columnist with accurate information without having a copy of the original newspaper article published in the Stockton Record on June 19, 1934, regarding the disappearance of J.C. Brown. After the telephone interview, Mike Fitzgerald sent via email in PDF format the original article that was written on that day on June 19, 1934, surrounding the man who was only known as J.C. Brown, that disappeared without a trace after sharing his unbelievable story about ancient treasures from a Lemurian civilization living under Mount Shasta. I will share with you in its entirety the newspaper article, word by word, as it was written. Stockton Record, 1934, news article, J.C. Brown. Here's Brown's weird tale of Lost Village. Brown's original story as told to a representative of the Record a month and a half ago, probably for the first time in Stockton, minus details concerning his personal history, follows. I found this cave while working in the Cascade Mountains for the Lord Cowdray Mining Company of England. I noticed a section of the rock in the face of the cliff which did not jibe with the formation of the real of the mass. Entering the tunnel. After removing the rock, I entered the tunnel which curved downward. 3 miles from the mouth of the tunnel, which was 7 feet wide and 10 feet high, I struck a cross-section containing gold-bearing ore. Further on, I struck another cross-section where this ancient race had apparently mined copper. The air in one section was bad. I believe the other cross-sections outcropped on some other part of the mountain. The decline continued, and 11 miles inside the mountain and approximately 2,300 feet from the surface, I struck what I called the village. Filled with tablets. 2 rooms about 12 feet by 20 feet were filled with copper and gold tablets, about 3 by 4 inches in concave, so that one laid inside one another. The rooms are literally full of 3 plates inscribed neatly. Another room contained many weapons. The tempered copper spears was so that one could bend the head of the weapon to the base of the shaft and it would spring back into place. Streets laid out. Streets were laid out in the village. In one long room were laid out at angles to the walls 27 skeletons, the smallest of which was 6 feet 6 inches and the tallest more than 10 feet. In another room lay, apparently embalmed by some secret process, the bodies of a man and a woman dressed in royal robes, which I believe were the king and queen of this race. The worship room was beautiful to behold. There on the walls were 3 great crosses, not of the conventional modern type, and a sun designed, worked in copper and gold. The streamers from the sun were worked in gold stringers. There were, I believe, 13 statues made of copper and gold. Lost race. I believe this race of people forms an important link in ancient American history. They were highly skilled craftsmen, as their work shows. Because there was a glow to 3 of these statues, I believe they used radium, and I believe it was with the use of radium that they tempered the copper. My wish is to enlist a corps of trained people, whom I shall pay well for their services, to assist me in cataloging these specimens. I want the relics in this cave to remain intact. Those in 2 other caves which I have located may go to those who have aided me. Claimed pictures. In a vault in a Texas bank, I have pictures of this scene in papers. You see, my family planned to exploit the cave themselves. My wife's father, my wife, my 2 daughters, and an old college chum. A series of tragedies struck me. First one died, then another. One was killed in an accident, and the others died. I was hurt in an accident. I lost all heart in this ambition, but I'm getting back on my feet again, and if my health holds out, I'll get started. Have you ever read or studied anything about the lost continent of Lemuria? Scientists claim it is the connecting link in the story of civilization. I believe here is the key to that lost civilization. I will now read part 2 of the Stockton Record 1934 news article. Followers hold all-night vigil for missing leader on trip to find weird cave. Disappearance of chief leaves group of local people enlisted in mysterious mission pondering next step. Surprise promise unit fails to materialize while many hold nocturnal watch to await J.C. Brown's return. 80 Stockton citizens today attempted to piece together reasons for the disappearance of J.C. Brown, 79-year-old geologist who had promised to lead them to hidden riches by the lost race of Lemuria. Police too were interested and sought Brown for purposes of questioning. Brown began organizing a band of followers here after 6 weeks after telling a Stockton newspaper man that in 1904 he had discovered a tunnel in the Cascade Mountains leading to a cavern filled with relics of apparently a lost race. The newspaper man took Brown to Harry Noyes Pratt, curator of the Hagen Memorial Museum, who gave him a list of people who might be interested in Brown's story, among those John C. Root, retired printer, 1784 North San Joaquin Street. Root took Brown to his home, and gradually an organization was formed with the purpose of participating in an expedition and exploration of Brown's cavern. Followers total 80. Meetings were held twice daily, and the followers grew to 80 in number. Brown's original story expanded to such an extent that his followers were told, and many believed, that the cavern held the secret to the lost race and continent of Lemuria. Brown, despite the fact that in the early part of the year he had lived in the federal shelter, allegedly told his organization that he was worth $40 million and owned 5 boats, one of which a glass-bottomed craft, which would arrive here Sunday to take the party north to search for the lost continent off the coast of Washington. Gave up positions. Gradually, as Brown's story expanded, some of his followers report mysticism, occultism, and other groups entering into the organization's discussions. Some, it is reported, actually gave up positions and disposed of furniture and other belongings so they would be free to accompany Brown on the expedition. Leaving Root's home yesterday morning, Brown left word that a surprise awaited his followers if they would gather at the Root home at 1 p.m. People began arriving before noon, and most of them remained until early this morning. Brown failed to return. Proof demanded. Brown had claimed that he had photographs and other proof of his discovery in a Texas bank. The proof was demanded of him recently by Curator Pratt, and it is understood was to be given to Pratt yesterday, or the latter would withdraw from any other further dealings in this matter. Some of Brown's followers were of the belief that the man had manufactured the fantastic story from one of Bulwer Lytton's novels. Some, however, clung to the belief that Brown would return and make good his promise to reveal the lost city. Psychic information. Meeting at the Root home had attracted neighbors, some of whom thought political meetings were in progress. Police, however, began inquiring into the matter when it received a report that a Silver Shirt organization was being formed. This report was denied in the Record Saturday by Root, who, however, declined to reveal the purpose of the meetings. One of the followers, who still to this day clung to his belief in Brown, said he had psychic information that Brown was all right. Amnesia victim. On an index card in the federal shelter is listed information that Brown suffered as an amnesia victim in 1932 and that he entertained fear that time to time he was being followed. He told his followers that being a millionaire, he feared being kidnapped and therefore appeared